professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been this successful in life?
Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis Podcast. I am not your host, Bradley Taschuk. I'm sure Brad has much better things to do. I don't know. We'll see how many times we're going to get Bradley. He made a threat. He made a threat for the Sphere card, and I don't know if we didn't recap the Sphere card, but it was a little bit underwhelming when it came to some of those fights, but I don't blame him. We missed last week. Wes and I are fathers, and that's it's a bit tough to juggle some things sometimes. So we're gonna try our best to talk about some fights and try to show up most of the time, and we'll go from there. How you doing, Wes?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. Actually, not feeling too bad this week. Another thing with kids is early on you're shaking the AIDS virus constantly, apparently. So,
Yep.
That'll definitely catch up with you. But yeah, good to be back and talk some fights. Pretty decent card we got this week, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, got sick second time in 3 weeks. Just got over it. So yeah,
I went back to back too. I literally got well, was sick for like a week, got feeling decent, and then boom, was hit again. It's like it's a sick cycle too, because it's him. It's usually him, her, me, her, me, just in a rotation, dog.
Oh, the joys of children. But
wouldn't trade it though. Wouldn't trade
nope.
it. I actually posted a pic of them from us at the zoo the other week, man. It's been like right over 3 years. It's
wild.
It's
wild
insane.
To think about.
I wouldn't trade it though, man. Like looking at that little dude, it's like, what else I done in my life? You know what I'm saying? I ain't done nothing, but that's cool. That's really fucking cool.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad in a couple months for a little while, so that'll be a fun experience. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes and enjoy that time where I don't have to go to work every day for a little while, and we'll see if I don't pull my hair out.
Yeah, it's not like I always get my couple months in the winter off where I'm literally not doing anything. So, I mean, instead of just not doing shit with him, but like my wife, Allison works from home too. So it's not like completely by yourself and shit. And it's like, he's still, when they're in this phase, when they're still this young, they need their mother and want their mother like so much more than their father. So she still takes on like us, like, my wife is a fucking superwoman. Like, I don't know how she does what she does, because I couldn't work a full-time job and deal with the kid as much as she still has to. So women are insane. Like, they're tough as fuck, man.
That is correct. Matt Fervola's body. Yeah, we'll chat about that. We'll chat about that very, very soon. That was one of the highlights from last weekend in France. Wes and I both lost a bunch of money because I don't know. It's a struggle. Seems like faves are hitting at a big amount. So then when we play some faves, we still can't hit the right ones. So it's something. Maybe we turn this ship around for the last couple months of the year, starting this weekend. But we'll chat about UFC Paris first. We'll go top down because some of that stuff on the prelims was interesting. The two important fights, Renato Moicano absolutely destroys BSD. Man, what a performance by him. And then Nasruddin Imavov takes a close decision over Brendan Allen. What you got here, Wes?
Yeah, look, the Makano is offensively, he's still just unbelievable. We didn't have to see the defensive liabilities in this fight because holy fuck, like immediate takedown. Was shocked of the control though. Once he got on top of OBSD, like I was pretty shocked that he sat there and got to do the damage that he did. And man, like for a round, that's some of the most insane damage I've ever seen anyone take. Like that top game was like Rumble Johnson level, like on top of a dude.
We don't see ground and pound like that much anymore.
But so two things, like one, it was like elbow work, which like I don't think people use the elbow like it's not just that, but I think people have learned to defend it a lot better while they're laying on their back. So one, the elbow work and man, just the control he had and stuff. Like it seemed like BSD had no answer to even move or even defend himself down there. It was crazy, but like one round of damage, like that's just as much as you'll ever see without a fight being stopped. Like his eye was completely done. The other one had a massive cut across it. Like that was impressive. But look, I'm always gonna remember Makano getting cracked and hurt in almost every fight. And I don't want to say like if BSD could have moved and got up and got this fight into the second round with the damage stuff, if ands or buts, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a little different if he didn't just get obliterated in that first round. But props to Makano, man. Like that guy's must see every time. Like you know, it's mic work after work. The man is starting to get out into outer space, bro. Like he's
playing to his crowd.
Yeah, but he's like becoming a believer. Like you've seen clips of some of this guy on his podcast and his show and shit. Like he's getting the astral plane level type shit. So to each their own. Yeah, a great performance by Makano. But look, man,
that fight went as good as it possibly could have for Makano. He instantly got a takedown, and he got a body triangle, and BSD had no idea how to get out of it, and just absolutely rained down punches. That's literally the best way that fight could have happened. He basically finished the fight in the first because of that damage. You know, like it wasn't gonna go any longer.
Props
Another round. Like
props to that doctor too, because like I know it was sort of an easy call, but I think there's some doctors in Vegas and shit that would have probably let BSD walk out there at least. You know what I'm saying?
So I forget who tweeted it. It was kind of funny. They're just like, so if a fighter can't see out of one eye, they just stop the fight. But there's fighters with only one eye, and they let them fight. So what the fuck? I'm like, yes, but there's ways how he got that one eye, and it's because he took a bunch of brain damage on the way to get it. But it was an interesting take.
Yeah. Well, and America is one thing to where France is like they're a little bit like very on the safe side still, I would say. But like over here, they let dudes still concuss walking out like can't stand straight, walk out for rounds. So we're a little different over here usually.
Yeah, good stuff. And then the co-main?
What was
Brendan Allen doing nothing with a takedown and then gassing out and shooting takedowns like he's in the 5th round and he's Damian Maia.
Yeah, like I feel like Brendan Allen is probably the better fighter than that guy. Like I still don't believe in Imamov. Like he's so underwhelming, man. He's pulling out these wins, props to him, but Brendan Allen's a fucking moron. Like how you just described, he's an idiot. He had every opportunity to win that fight. Man, these feel like two guys I want to fade every time, and I would have faded both of them here, but they were fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think much of either of these dudes, honestly.
Yeah, like Brendan Allen's shooting shitty takedowns and pulling guard in the second round.
Yeah,
he probably could have won that fight if he just stood up and traded. Like I
he
know
was
he was getting hit a bit, but he was doing good. In the third, he was winning in the third round with some striking there, and then he panic shoots, and like I know he's tired, and I don't know. If you're honestly, you shouldn't gas after grappling for one round, like especially when you're on top. You weren't doing too much. It's not like
and he hasn't really shown that before either, you know. And he's usually a pure grappler on guys, and he hasn't looked like he has gassed that. But like you said it, man, like he was winning the exchanges with the big punches through the entire fight. When they were on the feet throwing, he was landing big punches on it, and then was shooting shitty takedowns. I didn't get it, man. I didn't get it. Brain dead.
Yeah, and Imavov, like I know there was a bunch of grappling, but he looked like shit late in the third round. Like we've definitely
he always does.
We've questioned his cardio, and like he hasn't really fought any wrestlers. And I know that was I guess it was a heavy amount of wrestling. He was stuffing takedowns a bunch, but he was gassed. Like he's lucky there's not more grapplers at 85 because he is going to gas. If you force him to grapple, he is going to gas. Even if you do him a little bit of that and he has to strike long periods of time, he's probably going to gas. So yeah, these are both guys that you should probably look to fade in their next fights, because I don't know, IQ, cardio, everything is very questionable with both these gentlemen. But yeah, good stuff. We'll go through the rest of the main card. We had William Gomez getting a split decision win over Joanderson Brito. Didn't see that coming. Wes's favorite tough fighter, Brian Battle.
I got some things to say.
Knocks Kevin Jousset out in the second. Morgan Charrier knocks out Gabriel Miranda in the second, and then the aforementioned absolutely disgusting knee from Faris Zayam against Matt Frivola. What do you got here, Wes?
Well, I'm going to start off with my boy Brian Battle.
Is he growing on you with that heat?
He's growing on me, bro. He's actually growing on me. So I will say, look, his like transformation physically is insane.
Yeah.
If you've seen him from his very first right out of tough to now, his physical transformation is fucking night and day. You can tell that he's taking it seriously. He's at a good gym, but he also might be getting the good fucking yams now. Whatever. He's physically there. I still think he's got massive holes. He took some punches against fucking Jesuit in this fight. Like he got cracked a couple times, but man, like good performance again. He's having decent. He's finishing guys. He's finishing fights. Good performance again. And then, man, to come out there to ends in Paris, to whoop this French dude all over the fucking cage, flip the crowd off, talk shit. Then go outside after the fights and is taking pics and shit with all the French fans that were loving his fucking heel turn. He's growing on me, dog. Like I got nothing bad to say about Brian Battle right now. So
yeah,
props to him.
I think because most fighters are so homogenized in the UFC, when some guy just does something that's quasi interesting, especially getting a decent finish, it's enjoyable. Something different, not just whoever Dana and Sean Shelby wants me, I'll fight whoever, top 15, top 20,
or even or the Conor McGregor call out.
Yeah,
like, we just don't want it. We don't. Everything about Battle Saturday night was A+ in my book. I got nothing bad to say about the dude. He's growing on me a little bit as a fighter. Like I was wrong. I was fucking wrong about that dude. Like straight up.
You were wrong, but he also, I mean, he's got a nice streak.
Like
I
he
mean,
got beat. I got my money one time off of
Yep.
fading him, but like he's dedicated himself. You can see it. You can see the skill growth, everything. Props to him.
yes, sir.
What? Let's see. Oh yeah, man. Brito giving up the third round like he did and shit, man. Like he had that dude like on skates. Was it the second round? I think it was. He hurt him. Like I don't know. I think he just tried to do way too much grinding and grappling against the cage, against a guy that's like not like I wouldn't say stronger than Brito, but just a bigger dude, longer guy that he had problems with. I just don't think that was a good game plan from Brito in that fight. And that was shocking, man. And he lost that fight. It wasn't like it was some like rob decision in France. Like he lost that fucking fight. He gave it away. And cost me a little money. Charrier, great performance against a bum. They served him up for the France card. And then, man, for Vola, I mean, goddamn, how many knees was he going to take before that death blow? You know, because he kept like getting cracked with a knee. They showed the corner. Did you see the corner video of his brother and Ray Longo? Like
Just calling it out.
Told him it's coming again. Watch the knee and then death blow, man. I think our boy Capoza said it. That's legitimately one of the best knee KOs that we've ever seen. Like that man was fucking dead. He was doing fucking twister routines on the mat. It was bad, man. It was bad shit.
Yeah, great comment by Rick. He did get buried in the old Flanders field or wherever they.
Yeah, they're gonna be visited for bowling when they're over for the D-Day ceremonies. And shit.
Yeah, nasty knee. And it was cool because like yes, he was throwing it, but the finish was still kind of just out of nowhere. You don't see many of those when you're against the cage and on a break. You just throw a high knee and just implode a dude's face. That's good. Zims, he might be okay. I don't think he's ever going to be anything too special, but I mean, he's he's done a lot better than what I thought when he kind of first came into the UFC. So that's good. Yeah, like you said, Gomez just out grappling Brito in the first round. Not a good look. I thought Brito was better than that. And then Gomez asking for Diego is just like I want these guys to have call outs for fighters just to make something interesting, but you just have to be somewhat realistic. Don't fucking ask for Conor McGregor. Don't ask for top 3 fighters when you're not even ranked. Like, what are we doing?
They go to both ends of the spectrum because they'll call out somebody that nobody gives a fuck about, or they'll shoot for a title shot or McGregor. It's like, call out a top 10 guy. Just give us some, like, start thinking about this shit beforehand. You know you're gonna get asked that. Like, come on.
Maybe they just forget when they get punched in the head.
That definitely could play a part.
All right, we'll rip through the rest of the prelim card. We had Cute Labia getting a split decision over something called Ivan Urslan. Umar Sai defeats Zhang Da Woon by unanimous decision. Ludovic Klein, bit sketchy as a giant favorite, beats Roosevelt Roberts. Didn't seem that way on the cards, but that was a close fight. Lapus defeats Vince Morales. Eileen Perez, after looking like she's on death's door, is fucking grinding her ass in her after she arm bars her arm triangles a chick the next night. Fucking MMA baby.
Yep.
Daniel Barras defeats Victor Altamirano. Jacqueline Cavalcante beats the Cornhole by split decision, and Chris Duncan gets a weird submission victory over Bolaj Oki. What do you got on those prelims, Wes?
Cute Labia decision was like plus 1,000 or something like that. It was some crazy price. Couldn't believe it. I had under 1.5. Horrible bet. Man, I don't know. You can't finish the old Wu Jung. That was a horrible fight.
Credit to him. I thought he was gonna gas after the first, and he was just good enough that Dawoon couldn't do shit, but I thought he was gonna gas and
He's
he
a
was
big
gonna lose.
motherfucker. Yeah,
Yep, and
big
he
dude.
expended a bunch of energy, and he was still able to kind of get through some shit. So
Yep. Klein is a -1,000 favorite because Roberts is really bad too. Like that guy's not good. Lapus, whatever. Chick literally missing weight, then like twerking after, like, have a little bit of self-awareness. Whatever. Alto Moreno got absolutely robbed. He won that fight. I did bet him, but pretty much my timeline was like, that's a shaky ass fucking decision. I thought so too. I thought he won that fight. I don't care about the chick fight. That Duncan, like, rep not knowing the dude's literally dying there, getting choked fucking to death. That was funny. That was actually funny to start the night.
yeah, I just don't think I've ever seen a fight like that where it seemed like the guy was able to pull out of the submission and then died.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's you see something new on the curtain jerker in UFC Paris, I guess. I don't have too much else. I mean, it was a card, had a fuck ton of decisions on the prelims, saved a bit by the main card, and then we had the co-main that was pretty bad, and then got some violence in the main event. So kind of a hit and miss card, but still better than what they would put in the warehouse. So we can't complain too much.
Yeah, and just you can see when you get out of the warehouse. And French fans are fucking awesome. Usually anywhere you go around Europe, it's just amazing when it comes to the fans, man. French fans were literally like, that place was 75% full at the first fight. Like, I like to see that.
Yeah, when they go to these places where either they haven't been much, or
Rarely
kind of started to go to these places routinely, which France is kind of in that category. They seem to be kind of creating a buzz, and it helps with the fights. I think they need to go back to the other gloves though, because we just aren't getting knockouts anymore, eh?
There was a guy that released data today. I'm not sure if you saw it.
Yeah, I did see that.
So finishes are up for featherweights, which is wild. But I think all the talent is like around there. So you have guys that are literally so good and shit now that they are getting finishes, but across the board, finishes are just down over the past few years. Not just gloves, it's just down.
10-year low.
Yeah, like they're just, I don't think it, I mean, the gloves is it's kind of like, it's a funny thing to talk about. It's true, but it's anecdotal, but
yeah, of course.
I just think like we are to a point to where the skill level is as low as it's ever been. And let me rephrase that. The skill level isn't as low as it's as high as it's ever been, but it's as even as it's ever been. And that's why you're not getting the finishes that we used to see.
You got a bunch of guys that are good or okay at most things, to the point where they're not getting smoked on the feet, they're not getting smoked on the ground.
Yep.
And I just think the general, there's
what I would want to know too, like, is it where is the non-finishing showing up more? Is it in KOs or is it subs? Because I would feel like sub finishes have to be way down, because guys just don't get caught with all the dumb shit that they used to get caught with. Everybody knows how to defend subs. Everybody is decent on their defensive wrestling now. Like, so I wonder if the drastic decline is in subs, because it does feel like everybody's so well-rounded when it comes to their submission game now and stuff. So it's definitely a thing that you can feel though in fighting nowadays.
Yeah, Nate Latshaw is who did it on the old Twitter, but it doesn't look like he did the breakdown between subs and and knockouts, but you're probably right. I mean, guys, for the most part, aren't getting anybody getting arm bars these days.
Oh,
Not unless you're 150 to 135 pound woman.
chick. Yeah, that's it.
And even them, they're it seems to be fading a bit on those ones as well. So you're getting the some of the rear naked choke, some of the arm triangles, and that's kind of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if both KOs and submissions are down, but yeah, I'd be interested if that gets put up. But yeah, all it means is we get to see more fights or more minutes of fights that aren't being finished and are not amazing. That's what we're getting. So
A lot of point fighters nowadays. I tell you that.
yeah, it's something special. But we got a pay-per-view, second pay-per-view in 3 events. Kind of get the double dip. Main event is Alex Pereira trying to go for 3 title defenses in 1 year. That's quite rare.
It would be the quickest 3 in UFC history, I believe. I want to say the record was Rousey, and he's going to beat it by like 30 something days or some shit like that. It's insane.
It's wild because yes, this is going to be his 3rd title defense, and he didn't fight until April this year. Yeah, dude. So it's not like he just fought in like January.
Because back to back, 2 of them were like within weeks of each other when he stepped in, coming off a broken toe and shit. To, what was it, the Australia card or New Zealand card or wherever the fuck that was his last one? It was when a couple or a few weeks notice or some shit like that.
So he fought Yuri in end of June. That was at 303. He fought Jamal Hill in April.
Yeah, it was the Yuri fight. Remember, because the main fell through. Was it Whitaker or something like? Or
wasn't that Conor McGregor?
That
was the McGregor card. Yeah. So it wasn't like it was still, he got a couple months between fights, but it was more that like the fight wasn't announced until like how many weeks before the event was happening. So I think that's what kind of made it a bit more short notice. But yeah, man, he's only been in the UFC for since 2021, and what he's done is very impressive. I didn't know what to expect, him coming in at such a kind of an older age. It obviously helps that he's fighting at 185 and 205, with how those divisions are set up in this day and age. Yeah. But it's been wild. Like the UFC is very low on stars, and seeing him become one, winning the title after Glover and stuff, it's pretty cool, man. So he's a fairly easy guy to cheer for.
Yeah, and the only thing I'm like, if he goes out, clocks Rountree, people are gonna say he should have done it. This is the only downside of all this, and they're still saying he's ducking Ankalaev. Which
I don't think he's ducking him. I think
the UFC is ducking him. Yeah,
like the UFC is like, we got a guy that is very fun. He's a stand-up fighter and knocks people the fuck out.
He's a star now. Like,
and the other guy we can't really rely on because he does dumb shit all the time, and he's from Russia, and who knows if where all he can fight and when he's gonna fight and stuff like that. So let's kind of kick that can down the road, and how he fights. So we'll kick that can down the road, and we'll get a fun stand-up fight, and then who knows what happens. Maybe we'll talk about maybe what's next when we break down that fight. If he does get the
tell
win,
you what I want to be next.
We'll get to that. But we got a doozy. A doozy of a curtain jerker. Starting out in the welterweight division, we got Court McGee taking on Tim Means. What do you got, Wes?
Man, you want to talk about a fight of 2 fucking washing machines here. We got it. I will say though, I think I think one dude is way more. He's out to dry at this point. Like one dude's out of the wash machine, and he's on the clothesline. And I think that's Court, man. I think Court is absolutely fucking done. A stiff wind will fucking hurt this guy now. I was pretty shocked that he even made it 15 with Moreno, but he got there. If I remember correctly, like he had some okay moments in that fight.
He outstruck him.
Yeah, but it was Moreno. It seemed like Moreno had a really bad night that night. Like he just didn't even seem right. Timmy Means on the other hand, like horrible loss, but Medish is like not terrible. To knock him out is another thing, but Timmy's been caught and knocked out, all out his career. But I just think I think these dudes are gonna throw. We know Timmy Means is gonna stand up and throw. I mean, we know Court he's gonna fucking throw hands. I think one of these dudes is just going out. They're both glass jawed. They're both old as fucking hell. They both throw. They both stand up and throw. Timmy Means still hits hard in a motherfucker. Court McGee is still gonna throw fucking 150 fucking punches in this fight. So I like fight doesn't go, man. Like you can get plus 125 right now on these two old dudes that are gonna stand and fucking throw at each other like two drunkards at a fucking bar. I think one of them is going down eventually. I love fight doesn't go at plus 125. I think that's a very good bet. I lean Timmy. I think Timmy knocks him out at some point in this fight. So Timmy by KO, I believe is plus money as well if you want to look at that side. But I like fight doesn't go here.
I think you're looking at this fight the right way. I wouldn't touch either side. There was a time not too long ago that you talking about taking a fight doesn't go in a Court McGee fight would be hilarious. But in this day and age, with kind of like you said, how washed he is, how chinny he is, both these guys, we got 40-year-old versus 39-year-old. We got guys who, two of the last three fights that Court's been in, he's got knocked out in the very first round. And, two out of the last three times, Tim Means has been finished, and he got a finish in the other one. Like, I think that's the way to play. I might have to mush you on that, Wes. I'm very sorry, but
you can't mush me, man. I'm a mush on my own this year, brother.
Max mush together.
Mush.
Yeah. But I think Tim Means is the more likelier guy to get the finish. Obviously concerning coming off a first round KO at 40 years old, but they matched him up accordingly. We got a couple of old fucks that have seen some shit and have taken some damage, and one of them is probably going to go to sleep, and it's probably going to be Court McGee. So we'll waste some money on that under, or that doesn't go, and we'll go from there. Next up, we got in the light heavyweight division, the fight that just won't go away. We got Ryan Spann taking on Off.
Yeah, they're rolling him back out there. Look, this seems like classic fucking Osp to me. Like, fight he probably shouldn't win. We all think he's old and washed, going against a guy younger. Man, Spann is fucking just not good. And like, how many times have we seen this guy be a favorite in a fight and just completely no show? Man, this just feels like a lot of Osp doing a lot of fucking grinding up against the cage and holding Spann and shit, and maybe even getting some takedowns be on top. Spann gets taken down constantly. Dudes can lay on top of him. That just seems like a fucking perfect fight for Osp at this point in his career. Man, he's over 2-1 to this guy who, just like I said, flops almost every time. He's a fucking favorite just over and over. I mean, the dude's lost 3 in a row. He's losing to Anthony Smith and Krylov and shit. Like, Osp can absolutely do the Anthony Smith fucking on here. Grind, take down, lay on top. I like Osp in this spot, man. I really don't like a 40-something-year-old fucking Osp at this point. One thing that's good about Osp, though, now is like he doesn't take the chances like he used to. He would stand at a little distance. He wouldn't get all the way in and clinch on the cage. Sometimes he'd stand down, try to throw punches, and get fucking clipped constantly. Doesn't do it as much anymore. He stays inside. He grinds on guys. Yeah, over 2-1. I think I'll probably have to take some of that. Osp decision is plus 650 at Bet Online right now. That might get a little bit better when FanDuel and 365 and all them drop. So Osp decision, like, it's some shit that I could absolutely see happening here. And I'll probably take a little bit of that as well. But gonna have a tiny little bit on Osp in this fight.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the only way you probably should go in this fight. Yeah, like Spence lost 3 straight to Guskov, Smith, and Krylov, and he's a minus 300 favorite to Osp. Now, Osp is a very flawed fighter as well. He's old as shit. He did just win a fight against Kenny Nunchucks. I know that fight was absolute eye cancer, but
that's what we want.
That's what we want in that fight. I'm pretty sure we had the overs in those in that fight. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean he cracked Kenny Nunchucks. He outstruck him. That's what he had to do. I think he can probably do the same, like you said, grind on the fence. Is he going to get takedowns? I don't know. I could also see Span trying to go for a takedown and maybe Osp stuffs it and he lands on top. I don't know. I'm picking Osp. I don't know if I want to bet him. I'm kind of tired of donating when I just want some action. I seem to be doing okay when I actually put a decent sized bet down this year, but it's tough not throwing these darts on these big dogs that you think might have a chance. So I'll pick Osp, and hopefully for your sake I don't bet it and he wins. So let's go. Oh, we got a retirement fight, and one that I don't think many people care about. We got Carla Esparza taking on Tisha Pennington.
Sheesh. Yeah. Like, do we care if Esparza is fighting or never fighting again? Or, yeah, like, can Esparza get takedowns on Tisha in this fight? I'm not so sure. If she can't, she's probably going to get her face boxed. Well, nothing's going to get boxed off. She's going to get pity pat fucking airstriked into losing a decision here. Yeah, I like Tisha by decision, but I don't want I'm going to have enough dumb bets on this card. I'm not going to take another one here.
Yeah, Esparza hasn't fought in almost 2 years since she got destroyed by Weili. This is a retirement fight. I think you got to pick Tisha in this one. It's going to be ugly. The over 2.5 is like minus 600. Like
Tisha decision is minus 125, which is, man, it's actually a good line, but I don't want to do it to myself.
Like Tisha Torres. The only finish she has had is when I think I bet over 2.5 in that fight when she beat Sampage, which was fucking hilarious. But yeah, I think it's going to be a boring decision. Pennington, stuffs some takedowns, gets off the cage, and throws a couple more pitter-patter shots. And it's not a bad piss break on the prelim card to take. On to the, I guess, not early prelims. It's interesting they still kind of split those up according to the old Wikipedia anyway. But I think the next fight we have is in the lightweight division between Alexander Hernandez and Austin Hubbard.
Yeah, I
Maybe?
mean, this one, yeah, it's not. I think it's it. This should be a decent fight, I would imagine. My big question in this fight is, what's Hernandez back up at 155 again? Like I know he tried to get down and use his size and power at 145 and thought that was going to be his advantage. And man, he just didn't look good at 145. I'm just not sure how good is the guy anyway if he's not hitting that death blow. And that death blow seems to be coming less and less nowadays. Like I don't think Hubbard's like necessarily like very skilled or anything, but I do think Hubbard is very, very durable and has a pretty good chin. And if Hernandez doesn't land that fucking big punch in the first or something like that, I think he might end up having some problems staying in this 15 minutes with Hubbard all over him, trying to grind him, trying to get a hold of him. So I lean Hubbard in this fight as a dog. Man, Hubbard is not very good. I'm more down on Alex Hernandez at this point in his career. I have a hard time betting my money on Austin Hubbard though. The dude's not good, and I'm not sure Hernandez smokes him early, and if he doesn't, I think he's in trouble. So I'm gonna pick Hubbard. One of the dogs that I kind of like, but I'm probably gonna stay away from this one.
Yeah, when you look back on Alex Hernandez's career, it's quite interesting. Like for the most part, anytime he fights anybody decent,
Yep,
he loses. And what has become decent seems to be dropping because he got beat up pretty good against Bill Algeo, and then he lost a split decision to Jamin Jackson. That's getting a little lower than what what it has been in the past. I think if Alex Hernandez is honest with himself, his best path to victory is to just go balls out in the first round and try to get him out of there. Because I don't know if there's many fighters in the UFC where if he doesn't get them out of there early, he's gonna beat at this stage in his career. So we talk about it all the time where these guys, they kind of abandon what has got them there and what their path to victory is because they're worried about losing. Well, when you worry about losing and worrying about conserving energy, you become a much, much less dangerous fighter. So I think he should go balls out. Whether he does that or not, I don't know. Hernandez round one is like plus 450. I think if you're going to back Hernandez, you probably look at that because I don't know. I don't, if he doesn't get him out of there, he's probably going to get a little more tired, and then Hubbard's takedowns probably come a bit easier. I'll probably pick Hernandez. He should be the better fighter. He should get him out of there, but we know how that goes in this day and age. Aussie Fight Fan wants to know why you switched up from the Tito Hog pick to the Pleasure Man, Wes.
Just because I had to break out my shitty laptop while I'm doing the rebuild on my PC, so I had to reset up the StreamYard account, and I needed a background pick. And it was the Pleasure Man was just on the mind, you know what I'm saying? But Tito comes back probably next week when the rebuild's done. So Tito will be back. Happy face Tito is never going anywhere.
We need him to grace our screen. All right, we're up to the middleweight division. The Ihor Pateria is taking on Cesar Almeida.
Yeah, this fucking Ihor is fucking garbage, man. He's really, really bad. But I tell you, I don't know if Cesar Almeida should be like minus 400 or whatever he is to like almost anybody right now. Like that wasn't some his Contender Series kid performance was like, he fucked up Budka, who's just an absolute bum. And then last time out, like I think he was good earlier. Kopylov. I can't. How did that fight go? I think he was
Kopylov
like,
rocked him.
yeah, Kopylov, and he
Rocked
got
him
the
early.
third. Like Kopylov gassed in that fight and shit. Yeah, that. I just, man, Ihor is so bad. You can't bet Ihor here, but Almeida at -400 is just wild to me, man. This fight probably doesn't go 15, I would imagine, but the under 2.5, it's not even up. That's a Bovada line, so who even knows that that's real? But
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I could see this fight dragging into the fucking second round and shit. Who knows? This fight on here is one that I don't have much of a read on. Almeida probably wins. He's -400. I just think you have mental disabilities if you're betting -400 on Cesar Almeida. He's the pick, though. I want nothing to do with this shit. Long-winded way of saying I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight.
yeah, he's the guy that probably should win in this fight. It's just that number is pretty scary, just because he's kind of an unknown, and I know he fought a guy that was a lot better than I think we thought in Kopylov, and got to a decision, but it's hard to bank on these guys that are kind of unknowns in losing fights and thinking that, well, maybe they're not that bad. Like you, I don't really want any piece of this. Probably pick the big favorite in Tout Master, but yeah, I don't really see a kind of an edge in this fight. Over 1.5 is like almost a pick 'em. Maybe this goes some minutes. That would probably be the only way that I would play it, over 1.5. But
Yep.
No, thank you. I'll pass on that one. Going all the way down to the 115-pound women's division, we got Marina Rodriguez taking on Yasmin Lucindo.
Yeah, I think this is a close fight. I think it's a coin flip chick fight. I think it kind of comes down to Marina Rodriguez wants to keep this up and do her distance kind of kickboxing and shit. And usually when you don't have like decent offensive wrestling to get in on her and get her down and be able to grind on her, which, she's lost fights lately because of that. I'm not sure that chick has that. She's decent jiu-jitsu game. I'm just not sure she has any form of offensive wrestling to get inside on Rodriguez and consistently get her down. And if she can, I think Rodriguez can do that distance kickboxing that she does pretty well, that had her on the doorstep of title contention not that long ago. So, and she's like +165 here. Her decision price is up over +200. Those are just numbers I can't turn down on what I think is a close fight and a clear path for Rodriguez to win. So I will be betting the dog here.
Yeah, the level of competition that each of these fighters have faced is vastly different. Marina Rodriguez has pretty much, in the last like 5 years anyway, has fought nothing but, title contenders or top 5 fighters. Lucindo obviously hasn't been fighting that long, but the ladies that she has beaten are not very good. This comes down to if Marina Rodriguez can kind of stuff takedowns, especially early on. If she can stuff some takedowns, I think she is gonna just completely outvolume Lucindo on the feet. I was on Andrade in her last fight, Rodriguez, and Jessica Andrade didn't really go for takedowns other than in the first round. She was able to, keep an aggressive fighter off her like that, one who's very physical for the division. I think she should be able to do that against Lucindo. So I'm with you. I'm gonna be betting on Marina Rodriguez. This seems like a close fight, and the fighter who has fought much, much better competition and beat some of those fighters is plus 165. It's kind of an easy bet for me. So I got Rodriguez.
Let's go.
Aussie Fight Fan says that Kopylov never shot a takedown in his life and dominated. Probably value. I mean, you're not wrong. The problem is, like, is Ihor gonna take down this guy? I don't know.
He's bad, man. He's real bad.
But you know, it's I'm a sucker for some big
It's
money.
It's dog or pass.
Oh,
like that's
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm not throwing away money on the old Ihor. So you can, and I hope you cash it, but I'm gonna pass. Now we're on to the good fights. Up to the welterweight division, we got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on a guy that I don't think either of us like very much in Joaquin Buckley.
No, I think the man talks a lot for the level of skill that I think he possesses. You know, props to him. He's winning. I think he's on a pretty fraudulent win streak, though. In all honesty, coming off, you know, back-to-back losses over Imavov, who we talked about earlier, and you know, Chris Curtis fucking him up. He beat, you know, Filaho, Morono, what looked like
the ghost,
Luke on death's door. You know, and then last time out, getting a guy that, like, I bet him, like,
me too,
horrible bet, because he's
yep.
like, he's really bad. Look, I just think this is a fairly decent matchup for Wonderboy. I think his kind of distance point fighting karate shit is gonna work very well against Buckley. Buckley is a one fucking punch guy. He literally tries to leap in and throw big punches and shit, big movements, big techniques. That's just perfect for Wonderboy's game, man. You got to break that guy down over time with skill and technique that I just don't think Buckley possesses. So I think this could look ugly for Buckley, honestly. I mean, we remember the Wonderboy performance against Kevin Holland. Another guy that does big movements and big, you know, shit that Wonderboy just ate that shit up, man. So I kind of feel like he's in that boat again in this fight. So Wonderboy's out there at plus 185 or so. It's creeping up. I think Buckley gets a lot of, like, shine and shit from the UFC on their socials and shit and stuff like that. So I think people are going to see the highlights and stuff, and we're going to get Wonderboy at over 2-1 dog here, and I will be taking some of that.
Yeah, Buckley opened right around like minus 150. It's a bit more reasonable than where he is right now at minus 220. Wonderboy is, you know, 41 years old, and his game completely relies on reaction time, being quick and on his toes. And of course, that can start being a question when you start pushing into the 40s. But I do agree with you. I lost money last time out, just like you, but I'm still thinking that Buckley is a bit of a fraud. Is he going to be able to get takedowns? I think that is the question here. Because when it's on the feet, I think that Wonderboy is just going to be the faster, rangier fighter and kind of pick him apart. But it is possible that Buckley does get some takedowns. You know, at one point, Stephen Thompson seemed like pretty good takedown defense. It seems to be slipping now. Of course, he did fight some pretty good grapplers recently. And even when Kevin Holland decided that they were going to grapple, he kind of was able to, you know, get up fairly quickly. I gotta give Wonderboy a decent chance at stuffing some takedowns and picking this guy apart from distance. I've I've won some money on Thompson, especially in that Kevin Holland fight. And I love fading Buckley, so this seems like a match for me to mush Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So that's what I am going to do. Yeah, plus 185. That seems wild, but like you said, Buckley does get a bit of a push, and Wonderboy is old, so hopefully that number keeps rising, and when I lock it in, maybe I'll get close to plus 200. That wouldn't be a terrible thing to grab. So let's go Wonderboy one more time. Moving up one division to the middleweight division, we got Roman Dolidze taking on Kevin Holland.
Yeah, just discussing Kevin Holland, a guy that I have I think bet against almost every single time. I think there's a couple times I bet on Kevin Holland. Not sure I did well there either. Like I've not been great. Definitely not the last fight, because I was on the Candyman last time out. Actually was feeling pretty fucking good about it until just he like tripped over his own fucking feet or some shit, and Holland pulls off some fucking crazy shit. Like he was getting pieced up by the Candyman. Look, in this fight, I just think one dude is gonna be a big, strong motherfucker that is gonna be throwing fucking bombs. And the other dude is back up at 185, where he's a skinny little stick. He's got no power. Is he gonna grind on Dolidze? Like, can he get Dolidze down? Like most dudes need to get that guy down so they're not feeling that fucking power of his. I don't think so. I think Dolidze's probably gonna fucking catch Holland with something big at some point in this fight. I'm not running out to bet the Dolidze KO, but I do like the plus money here against Kevin Holland. Like I said, I just think he's going to be the way bigger, stronger guy in this fight. I'm not exactly sure what Kevin Holland's path is. Maybe point fighting him here, trying to out volume him at like a little distance. Like, is he going to get inside and like grind on Dolidze or get consistent takedowns on Dolidze? I just don't see that, man. So probably a kickboxing match with one dude that's going to be bigger and hits way harder. I'm going to take some of that. Don't know if there's a finish in this fight. Like I said, I'm not sure Dolidze necessarily gets Holland out of there, but I do think he ends up landing the sort of bigger stuff. I mean, his KO price is plus 800. Him inside the distance is like plus 550. If there was a finish here, that's probably the way I would lean, is Dolidze getting a finish for sure. Probably just going to take that money line, and hopefully he knocks Kevin Holland out, shuts him up a little bit.
Nothing shuts up Kevin Holland. What are you saying? Yeah, we got a guy who just got a win at 205, fighting a guy that, before last time out, he had 5 straight fights at 170. So I think there's going to be a pretty decent size advantage for Dolidze, but I also think there's probably going to be a decent speed advantage for Kevin Holland. He does have the length advantage in this fight. The power is definitely on the Dolidze side. I'd be curious if Dolidze kind of went back to grappling a bit and see what he could do against the smaller fighter. He's done it a bit, but when he first came to the UFC, that's kind of what he was doing, was grappling, and he's fighting better guys and decent grapplers at 85, and then he kind of didn't do it as much. He did take Anthony Smith down once in that fight. So I think it's not a bad plan. I think he can mix it up on the feet if the speed difference is too big and he can't really land those big punches. Go shoot a takedown. See what that Holland grappling looks like. I don't think Holland is gonna sub fucking Delize from the bottom,
No.
like he's Michael Candy. And there's just gonna be a big size difference. So I think that the Delize could, press on him, and I don't know if he could catch Holland or anything like that, but Holland's durable. Holland has a hell of a chin. It took a lot of punches for
Yeah.
for Wonder Boy to get him out of there, and he's got cracked in a shit ton of his fights. Maybe he's losing a bit of that durability to get cracked by Mikey O last time. He did get beat up a lot against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So I don't know. Maybe that kind of grittiness and chin is starting to waste away, and Delize can crack him. But regardless, I'm gonna have to back Delize here. It's probably gonna be a small bet, but never been a Holland guy, never been a Delize guy, but I think the Delize has a couple paths to victory and is going to have a decent size advantage. So he just needs to use that advantage in whatever way that works the best when they match up here. So
Getting that Delize sub against Meerkat kind of changed my opinion a little.
Yeah,
that was a nice hit. That was a very nice hit.
Yeah, that was supposed to go the other way around.
Yep. Yep.
But for Aussie, our buddy Aussie fight fans' sake, getting a sub wouldn't be terrible.
I'm telling you, it's there. It's there.
Those 4-digit ones are fun. I have not hit a single one this year, so maybe I could land a dart sometime soon on one of those. Oh, we are down at the women's bantamweight division. Kayla Harrison is for some reason fighting Ketlin Vieira instead of fighting for the title. Wes?
Yeah, I mean, why are we even doing this at this point? It really is like, and we know what's going to happen here. Harrison's going to smash. Harrison's like say what you will about the chick and her personality and shit. Like, she's not the most likable person, I guess, and shit. But man, goddamn, what she does very, very well. Absolute fucking tank. You don't think this chick ain't mainlining fucking yams? You're out of your mind. She's gonna smash here. It's all, does she finish or not? I think she probably gets a finish here. You can get that at plus money. I was kind of looking at sub as plus 300. I might throw a couple bucks on that, but not a lot, because there's been a couple times where we've seen Harrison and PFL kind of just play with her food and not go all out. That's kind of look at that different now that she's in the UFC, because she needs to perform and impress and stuff. And she did that last time out against Holly. So I feel she gets a finish here. So I'm probably going to just take a couple bucks on that sub and call it a day. And can we just get on to getting a belt on this chick? Like, it's going to happen. We're just delaying the fucking inevitable at this point.
Yeah, not sure I really understand what the UFC is doing here. Harrison should obviously be fighting for the belt, and I mean, I guess she's kind of the backup here, but seems like a waste. And even just for marketability, like, what if something dumb fucking happens?
Yep.
And then we're back to literally no one giving a fuck about this division or who fights in it or who has the belt or anything. So why take that chance? But here we are. UFC does things a certain way, and that's how it is. One thing that Kayla didn't have in the PFL was she wasn't allowed to use elbows. And for a grappler, those are handy. We talked about it with Mike Cano. She is probably going to get some takedowns, and she is going to hurt some ladies with those elbows. So I think she gets a finish. Under 2.5 is plus 125.
Yep.
That's interesting. I know Ketlin Vieira does have, numbers wise, good takedown defense.
It's just different.
Yeah. So Vieira to me doesn't really have, big power to get respect from Harrison. So I think the grappling difference is going to be huge. Harrison's going to get takedowns and smash her on the ground, and we will all say this was a waste of time, and she should just fight 2 times in one night for whoever. Yeah. But here we are. On to better things. We got in the bantamweight division.
Dope stuff.
The King of Rio, Jose Aldo, taking on Mario Bautista.
Yeah, like it's 2024, and we're talking about Jose Aldo still being one of the best fighters on the planet. Down a weight class from where he was an all-time great, just fucking schooling these young top 10, top 5 dudes. It's incredible to watch. I think we got another one lined up. I think we got another guy who I like. Like, I really like Mario Bautista. I think he's a hell of a fighter. I think he's on a great run. But man, we've seen this over and over the past couple years, man, with Aldo. Like, he is a bad matchup for like all of these guys. Like, he's a horrible matchup. You're not gonna out calf kick him. You're not gonna fucking take him down and grind on him. You're not gonna take him down. Like, what are you supposed to do? He's a better boxer. Man, keep giving me dog money on Aldo against these younger 135ers that are on the cusp of like title contention and shit, because you can call him a gatekeeper if you want to. This might be the greatest gatekeeper we've ever seen, even at this point in his career, if that's how you want to refer to him. But this gate stays closed for a while. Aldo at dog money, again, is crazy to me. Biggest bet on the card, Jose Aldo, dog money. He schools another kid who just isn't on his level, even in 2024.
Yeah, right there with you. Don't really understand this number. For the most part, Mario Batista likes to, switch it up, do some grappling, do some striking. He ain't gonna be grappling Jose Aldo. Marab couldn't take down Jose Aldo. Mario Batista's not gonna take him down, or if he does, he's not gonna stay there long at all. So then this becomes a striking fight, and like you said, I think Aldo's got the better boxing. He's probably faster, even at his age. I don't know. I guess they're just thinking that Aldo's gonna age himself out. I know. There's a lot of these fights in the UFC where you got the young guy, the up and comer, taking on, the old vet. But Aldo's still really fucking good. He fucking smacked Jonathan Martinez last time out. We were all on Aldo. Almost
like not even close.
He almost got a finish. Just threw in a takedown because why not? He's fucking good, man. He's still very, very good. Yeah, I just think he's better in kind of all aspects. So you're giving me plus money on that? I'll take it. I'm gonna have a pretty good sized bet on Jose Aldo, and if this guy who he's on a decent streak, but Aldo is not Guido Canetti. Aldo is not Damon Blackshear.
Look who Aldo has fought recently at 135, and what he's done to him, and
and like, I know he took that time off and stuff like that, but like he's what he did, against Rob Font, against Pedro Munoz, had a decent fight against Marab, who is, the hardest matchup in MMA right now, and then just smoke Jonathan Martinez. Like, I get it, he's getting older, but I'll still take Jose Aldo. The man is rejuvenized, whether it's the Brazilian yams, the time off, or whatever, the new weight class. I don't know. But yeah, Jose Aldo, consensus bet of the week, plus 124. Let's go.
Bang, bang.
Let's go. All right, on to the co-main event. The aforementioned waste of time for the UFC Women's Bantamweight title. Raquel Pennington taking on Juliana Pena.
Yeah, this is just atrocious, bro. Like, what are we even doing? Wasn't what was supposed to be y'all's main event up in Canada? Didn't they have y'all a shitty women's main event and then they changed it?
Yeah, it was Rose versus
Yeah.
I forget who. Yeah, and then they gave us Moreno versus Albazi instead.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a pay-per-view, like it's just a fight night card. So hey, we'll take the Albazi Moreno fight as a 5-rounder instead of. And I'm pretty sure the Rose Namajunas versus Blanchfield fight's going to be 5 rounds anyway. But at least we're going to end the night on a fun note.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a fun fight. Yeah, look, Julia Panay hasn't fought since fucking 2 years ago now. It's been 2 years?
Over 2 years.
Over
July
2 years
30th, 2022.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man? Like, can she like out grind Pennington? What Pennington's gonna try to do? Like, she's just gonna try to hold her against the fucking cage and just hold her and hold her and hold her and throw little fucking dumb shots. Like, that's what this fight's gonna be. Gonna be absolutely boring as shit. It's gonna be 25. It's gonna be 25 minutes of like some horrible shit. But I lean Pennington in this fight. Pennington decision is like slight plus money. I can't even do that. This is a co-main, and I want nothing to do with it, man. Pennington decision. It's gonna be one of the worst fights of the entire year.
The over 4.5 is minus 260.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's wild that they gave Pena coming off over 2 years and lost last time out. I know it was for the title, but they gave her an instant title shot instead of giving it to Kayla Harrison. I don't understand it. Like, Pena's like the only one who talks shit, even though it's terrible and she's stupid. And
she got something on Dana, bro. She has for years.
It's gotta be something juicy like that. But I don't know. I think Pennington stuffs takedowns and lands some jabs, and we get a 25-minute barn burner of a co-main event in Utah. Yeah, it's I don't think I'm betting it. It's just, let's just forget it's happening, and then just let me know when the main event walks are going to start, and we'll have some more fun. Speaking of which, we are on to the main event. We got Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight championship against Khalil Rountree Jr.
It's kind of wild. Yeah, I mean, look, props to Rountree. I remember a few years ago that guy was like retiring and shit. Like, he was.
Oh, you mean when he lost to Marcin Prachnio after losing to Cute Labia?
Yeah, I mean, and I think, like, you know, he's kind of like Battle almost. Like, he's fully all in, started dedicating himself. Skills got better, physique got better. He's always had the power. But man, what are we doing here? Like, this is just, look, I think this is 99 times out of 100, Khalil's going to get deaded here. He has the power to that one time, though, that he can land something. Like, he absolutely could. Rountree hits like a fucking truck. I am not sure how Anthony Smith survived as long as he did. Anthony Smith is just different. The guy's brain is so oatmealed at this point to where you can knock his teeth out and you can't finish the dude. You got to beat the guy half to death. So I'll give Rountree, a little bit there. But look, this is going to be a kickboxing match. Who are you taking? The world champion kickboxer, the double champ that just deads guys who want to stand with him. I mean, I think Yuri is just an all-around more dynamic striker than Rountree will ever be, and he gets head kick knocked out by Alex. Like, these are just two different levels of a striking fighter, man, and I think we're going to see the same thing. It's tough to do with a lot of anything with Alex in this fight. He's up to minus 500 at this point. Him by KO is like minus 300. Not a lot to do. I'm going to probably put that KO or money line in just some dumb chalk shit so I have some rooting interest in the main event, but nothing like some standard bet because line's kind of wild. Like I said, Roundtree still got that power. We'll more talk about that. Like, Pereira wins this fight, has 3 title defenses in the shortest time frame in UFC history. Double champ. Like, this guy's on some legendary type fucking path right now that I don't think a lot of people, I mean, people appreciate it, but I think they're just kind of overlooking in the grand scheme of things. And like, people talk about Makachev as like the number 1 pound for pound guy and shit that fights like once a year and shit. And this dude has literally won 2 belts fighting everybody, and he flying across the world, taking fights on short notice, title fights and shit. This guy's insane, man. This guy's an all-timer already at this point. Another step up in my book. He's taken the mantle from the legend Glover. Like, it's dude trained this guy out of a literal fucking garage at one point. They were training, both becoming world champions. Alex Pereira becoming one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. That's fucking legendary shit. These dudes are from Danbury, Connecticut, dog. Fighting out of a garage to begin with. Like, legitimately out of a garage they were training. Just legendary shit, man. I think this fight should be fun as long as it lasts. Pereira's the man. I don't want to hear about the Ankalaev duck and shit though, like, anymore. Like, Pereira would fight that dude if the UFC lined it up tomorrow. Don't ever think twice about that. It's not Pereira ducking this dude whatsoever. The UFC's ducking this dude. The UFC don't want a fucking ass sniffing, leg humping motherfucker to leg hump Alex Pereira for 25 minutes to a fucking title, who then they got to watch him again leg kick some guy to a fucking dry hump. Nobody wants to see that shit. If Ankalaev performed and knocked guys out or sub guys out or grounded pounded guys out, he would already had the title shot. So it's on Ankalaev. It's not on Pereira or his legacy. That dude's legacy is set whether he fights Ankalaev or not. And hopefully Pereira knocks out Rountree in just Pereira fashion. I want to see Aspinall. John Jones ain't taking that fight. Stipe ain't taking that fucking fight. Everybody, we can quit whining about John Jones not fighting him. Let Pereira fight that dude and try to become a fucking 3-division champ. Like, let's make some history. It's a fight that would be absolutely insane. Let's do that. I'm absolutely cool with Pereira holding up nobody gives a shit about, like, 205 and 185 is so shallow. You're just going to be doing rematches with him and guys that he already beat anyway. Who cares if the fucking division gets held up for fucking a year? Nobody gives a shit. Make that fight happen if he gets through Rountree. Rountree has a puncher's chance in this fight, though.
Yeah. As for this fight, Pereira should win. This will be a stand-up fight, and Rountree has big power. So this is 205. Just like heavyweights, dumb shit can happen. These guys are big gentlemen throwing fist very fast, and it could connect. I'd probably give him a little more than a 1% chance of landing the strike, but obviously the much more technical fighter is Pereira. Rountree has come a long way. We're going to see how his striking looks against a world-class kickboxer. He has the power. Does he have the technique? Does he have the defense to not get hit too much by Pereira? We'll see. I don't think so. I'm picking Pereira. I just don't want to lay minus 500 on a light heavyweight in a striking fight with a guy with huge power. So I don't know. This is bad. I might not have any bets on the co-main or main event. Very sad.
I'll have something.
I know you will. You'll throw it in a chalk parlay.
Yeah.
As for after this fight, I think you're right. I think if he wins, he should get on the mic, and of course he won't do this. I mean, there is the language barrier, but he should be like, Tom Esmal, let's fucking fight. Those old bums are gonna retire after they fight each other. They don't want any piece of me or you. Let's fucking do this for the heavyweight championship. And he could do something that no one's ever done, and that's win a title in 3 different weight classes. So
that would be a massive fight. Like a massive fight. I think that fight would sell.
And like it's not like there's a bunch of heavyweights that are like on the cusp and they're just lining up to fight Aspinall. He's beat most of the guys. The only guys,
because he's like he's fucking great. Like he's a great fighter. Aspinall is great, man.
Well, yeah, and he's beat everybody. The only guys he hasn't beat are the guys that are holding up the division, and I don't see them fighting after Madison Square Garden. So let's do that shit. And like I said, there's no one really in line who gives a shit who's the number 1 ranked heavyweight after Aspinall and the other 2 geriatrics.
But Ankalaev might not get a shot at 205. Who gives a shit?
I don't really care about that either, because Ankalaev never fights. I don't know if that's his fault. It's probably not. But if this guy was a busy fighter and fought every year 3 times at least, or 2 or 3 times every year, but that doesn't happen. So he can wait. We want the UFC to put on big fights. Their whole big thing is, we can put on the big fights when boxing can't and shit like that. Well, guess what? Make a fight between the heavyweight champion and the light heavyweight champion, where the light heavyweight champion can win a belt in a 3rd weight division and do something that no one's ever done. That's what they should do. So I don't know if it happens. Probably won't, because UFC is no fun. And they probably can't talk about it because, of course, John Jones is number 1 pound fighter in the world and has a fight in a couple months. But that's who Alex Pereira should call out and make them not give a fuck even less about the John Jones Stipe fight, which I don't know if there's many people who give a fuck. So that would make sense to me.
Yeah, it is kind of sad that we might the last fight we might see, like, he's not, I'll go through this again, he's not the greatest fighter of today, but the greatest fighter of all time is John Jones. And it's going to be kind of sad that the last time we might ever see him is going to be against absolute fucking dude that can barely walk at this point. And that might be the last time we see the actual GOAT of the sport. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if that fight happens.
We don't even know if that fight's going to make it to the cage. So.
We will see. As for next week, we'll try to make it. It's we're back in the warehouse. Hopefully, we have some good fights to recap, and we will chat about some warehouse fights where there's a couple okay fights, but that's kind of
what we get is Bivol Better Be, that's next weekend too, right?
Yeah, so that's actually a good fight, and we
That's an amazing
can
fight.
we can enjoy that instead of the warehouse fight card. So yeah, we should everyone who's listening should watch that fight instead. I don't know how it will what because is it happening in the States? No, it's in Saudi
It's
Arabia.
on. Yeah, it's on early, and well, it'll be probably 4 or 5
It'll be
o'clock East.
afternoon. Right. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But like the main on the UFC card should be like really good.
And I mean that fight is gonna be over. I mean,
yeah,
that'll walk us into these the amazing prelims that are gonna happen in the warehouse. So yeah, that's good. We got I think us in the group have a good chunk on Mr. Bivol, and hopefully he comes through for us.
That is that's a Matty release. You're hearing it here.
Yes, sir.
You ain't got it in. Get it in.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, we appreciate the people that were chatting with us and listening to us live, and yeah, we'll be back next week to have some good fights and break down some warehouse cards.